What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Nostalgia Podcast. In this episode, you're going to see that I went onto another podcast, the TV Trivia Podcast. Make sure you go check them out. But this podcast was awesome and so much fun to do because it was all based around the Hulk, one of the Hulk movies. So stick around, find out how I did. Enjoy the episode. As always, please head over to Apple Podcasts, drop that 5-star, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about us. Help us grow this audience. All right, there's no quick clip this week. But here's the intro song, and I'll catch you in the episode.
Hello and welcome to the TV Trivia Podcast, the podcast about TV and movie trivia. I'm your host, Brian Sheehan, and in this episode, I'll be asking questions from the Incredible Hulk. Our guest today is returning from episode 52 from The Office Trivia, Irvin from the podcast Nerd Nostalgia. Irvin, thanks for coming back.
Oh, there he goes. Thank you for having me. I'm over here clicking buttons and stuff. I'm like, work. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back.
Happy to have you. Now, I believe on your Office episode, you came in with notes, maybe pages of notes?
I originally did, yes. I did not this time around, but I should have. And I thought about it, but I was doing two things at one time. So I was watching the movie and then doing some comic book nerd stuff as well.
Well, awesome, because I have some comic book nerd stuff to ask. But to benefit you, though, you said you did wrap up maybe 10 minutes before we started recording.
That is correct, sir.
Well, before we get started with Incredible Hulk trivia, I was wondering if you could answer a question for me. In the movie, he checks his heart rate even while he runs. I always thought it was an anger thing that triggered the Hulk, not a heart rate thing.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the weak points of this movie. I was like, it's an anger thing, but I guess they went scientific on us and it's a heart rate thing.
And then I guess, in Avengers, his secret is he's always angry. Is it a combination of the two? He doesn't look like at that moment, it doesn't look like his heart rate is above 200.
Correct. They definitely retconned a lot of that, but they wanted to keep pretty much, let's call it 75% of this movie. Obviously with a big portion of that being Ed Norton.
All right. Well, before we do get started with trivia, do you have a favorite moment from the Hulk or the MCU?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll do both. Why not both?
Okay.
From the Hulk movie, I actually forgot how good of an actor Ed is. I haven't seen him in anything lately.
It's been a while.
It has, but he impressed me. I think my favorite scene was the Hulk clap. I don't know if you've ever played the video games or watched, the anime back in the day.
I did not.
So he does this like supersonic clap, and I remembered that as a kid, and I had forgotten it in the MCU recently. But there was a part where Betty Ross and Thunderbolt Ross are in the helicopter. It just got downed, which how they survived is beyond me, but whatever. But they're there. The thing is on fire, and Hulk sees this. He's in the middle of his fight with Abomination, and then he does his clap, and that to me, I was like, that's awesome. It gave me that nostalgia, right?
Oh, that's really cool. I mean, I always had a soft spot for Hulk, but I think one of the only things I know that's big for him is Hulk smash.
Yeah. That's the big one. That's the low-hanging fruit, but there's a couple other little things for sure.
That's really cool.
And then MCU-wise, I would say Cap wielding Mjolnir. Nothing is going to top that. I mean, I guess spoiler alert if you haven't seen the most recent Spider-Man, but that was pretty cool to see on screen as well.
That was really cool. That was really epic. That did so much for you, just like emotionally and nostalgically. Seeing all that together was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I went to the theaters both times to see the movies. The reactions were the same. People were like, freaking out, myself included. So when you're in that room and that energy, like-minded people that enjoy the movies, maybe even nerds themselves, and just seeing them see what they've read in comics or seen in an anime version and seeing it reflected in the big screen live action, it's pretty epic.
Well, speaking of nostalgia and nerding out as well, I do have some some special questions in the bonus episode that go a little, I guess, behind the scenes here. At least two here that I'm wondering if you picked up from the movie, if you know what I'm hinting at.
Possibly, if you're talking about the extra scene at the end. If not, then I don't know.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that. That will come up in this trivia in this round here. But listen, we'll get there for the bonus episode.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Well, before we get started, to my current listeners out there, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you rate and subscribe, and get some friends to do the same. You can also send in your own trivia, email the show, and sign up for my Patreon to get 4 sweet bonus episodes a month. But more on that after some trivia. Irvin, are you ready to go?
Let's rock out.
All right. Starting with round 1, question 1. What is Bruce's chat handle and the handle of the person he communicates with? Question number 2. That online person says that Bruce is living with what kind of radiation poisoning? Question number 3. Who's the woman at the university Bruce goes to see, and what is her area of study? Question number 4. When Bruce's girlfriend gets some clothes for Bruce, what color pants were the stretchiest they had? Question number 5. What is the unofficial name of Hulk's Nemesis? Question number 6. Who approaches the general at the bar at the end of the movie? Question number 7. Bruce thought he was working on what when he tested it on himself? And question number 8. Who is Bruce's girlfriend's dad? All right, going back to question number 1. What is Bruce's chat handle and the handle of the person he communicates with?
That would be Mr. Blue and, of course, Mr. Green.
Mr. Blue and Mr. Green are correct. Mr. Green, not the most creative of names there for him. Was Mr. Blue significant? Was the color blue significant?
You know, I don't remember if that character, and I probably should have looked this up, becomes something. I want to say at the end of the movie he does, but I don't know if that's canon.
Right. Whatever happened with that? Again, at the end of the movie, he gets some of Bruce's blood into a scratch in his head. We see it mutate. He does this weird smile to the screen. Never addressed again.
Yep. Again, that's part of that whole, we want 75% of this, and that's it. Like the rest of it, no thank you.
Question number 2. Mr. Blue says that Bruce is living with what kind of radiation poisoning?
Alpha, beta, delta, and of course, gamma radiation.
Gamma radiation is correct, which again, I didn't realize was picked up so much later in the MCU too. I believe that's mentioned in Avengers a little bit as well. Stuff about gamma radiation and how he's the best at tracking it.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that. It's weird, they just kind of completely bypass it in the MCU. But again, they're pulling off the fact that 2008 was the same person, and everybody's like, yeah, sure, okay, it is.
Question number 3. Who's the woman at the university Bruce goes to see, and what is her area of study? We'll make that 2 points.
Ooh, 2 points, all right. That is Dr. Betty Ross, and she is I can't remember if it's a molecular biologist, I believe.
Not that one.
Dang it. Cellular biologist.
A cellular biologist is correct.
Okay.
Betty Ross is a cellular biologist for 2 points.
Woo!
Well, speaking of her, question number 4. When Betty gets some clothes for Bruce, what color pants were the stretchiest they had?
This is a nod to the original show back in the 70s, I want to say it was. And that is to Lou Ferrigno's purple pants.
Purple is correct. I always thought those two things went together. The Hulk always is wearing purple pants.
Correct.
That was a really cool thing to see. I think I laughed out loud when I saw that.
Yeah. I was like, I see what you guys did there.
Question number 5, something you referenced earlier. What is the unofficial name of Hulk's Nemesis?
That would be Abomination. Had you actually told me what his real name was, I would not have remembered that.
Abomination is correct. And I say unofficial because I don't think anyone actually calls him that in the movie.
No, they kind of do. No one officially calls it. Mr. Blue, whatever doctor that was, he does at one point give a little waiver to that sergeant. I forgot what his name is, right? Well, it'll come to me eventually, but he's like, hey, you look like you have some stuff already in you. He's like, we don't know what this will do. He's like, it could be an abomination.
Yeah.
Pretty cheesy, but they do drop it.
Which is, I appreciate the nods.
You gotta love it. Those Easter eggs, you know?
Question number 6. Who approaches the general at the bar at the end of the movie?
None other than Tony Stark himself.
Tony Stark is correct. Probably, again, this is the first time a crossover has happened, right?
Yeah, to this level for sure. Everybody was like, whoa.
To this level.
Yeah, exactly. It gets better.
with Avengers, then Endgame, and then, other stuff. I don't know if I kept that other thing you said in there with the spoiler, because I guess fair. It's still relatively recent.
Still pretty fresh. Yeah, you're right.
Man, such a cool cameo to see Iron Man in The Incredible Hulk.
That was, they were definitely setting up the future there with the Avengers, right? So they were gearing towards that, because I think these movies came out right around the same time, Iron Man, and then I believe Hulk was after, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was. Question number 7. Bruce thought he was working on what when he tested it on himself?
This question is a tough one, and I think it's the toughest of the bunch. I'm gonna guess gamma radiation, because that's technically not wrong.
It does have to do with radiation. I was looking for radiation resistance.
Radiation resistance. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I would not. I that one I didn't know. I was like, dang it, I don't remember this one.
Listen, when I made questions for this, there actually weren't a ton of ones that I thought were actually easy. So we're creeping up into some of the upper level questions here.
Oh man, if this is the first round, we'll see how it's going.
Well, to end round 1 with question number 8, who is Betty's dad?
That is Thunderbolt Ross, or General Thunderbolt Ross, I guess.
General Ross is correct. Was Thunderbolt used in the movie?
I don't know. I look at him and I'm like, that's Thunderbolt Ross right there.
Thunderbolt from what?
I think it's a nickname he's picked up during like his wartime. I hope his parents did not name him Thunderbolt, but if they did, good grief, Charlie Brown. So I want to say it's a nickname he got in the military, and then it's always stuck.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if, again, I haven't read the comics. All I know is the movies, but if Thunderbolt was maybe the name of another character you played, like every time someone sees John Krasinski, we're like, oh, Jim, or if Thunderbolt was another Easter egg.
Yeah, no. Thunderbolt is like his nickname. So there's actually another group of kind of Avengers-like team, and people are speculating that they're going to show up in the MCU.
Ah, okay.
But it's the Thunderbolts. So if you notice, he came back in the most recent, in Black Widow? I don't know if you saw Black Widow.
I have seen Black Widow, but it had been so long since I've seen Hulk, I don't know if I put it together.
Yeah, he's in it, so people are speculating that that's going to happen. And if you want another spoiler, I can also give that, or I guess it's not a spoiler, but another speculation.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So, and you may know this, General Thunderbolt Ross, he eventually becomes the Red Hulk.
I remember hearing that maybe when this movie first came out.
So that's the angle that people think is going to happen. And that's a pretty recent transition, but it'll be interesting to see if they do go that path.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'd be excited to see it.
Agreed.
All right. Well, to end round number 1, you are 8 for 8 right now. Going into the medium round, starting with question number 9, Bruce tries to learn Portuguese with a dictionary and by watching what television program? Question number 10, Bruce doesn't get his Portuguese right and says, "You won't like me when I'm what?" Question number 11, what university does Bruce stake out? Question number 12, what restaurant does Bruce go to while at the university? Question number 13, in order to protect the flash drive when the military comes, what does Bruce do? Question number 14, What does Betty offer to sell to help them get a little more cash? And question number 15, instead of saying hit me or another one like a normal person, what does the general say when he wants another drink? All right, going back to question number 9, Bruce tries to learn Portuguese with a dictionary and by watching what television program?
The Hulk?
This is more of a popular kids, learning show.
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street is correct. The Hulk.
I was like, the Hulk? How meta would that have been?
Was it? Did it play at on anybody's TV at all while in the movie?
I tried to catch it, but I didn't see it. We did, and this may be a question, but obviously Lou is in the movie, right?
It's coming up in the bonus round.
Oh, see?
All right, question number 10. Bruce doesn't get his Portuguese right and says, you won't like me when I'm what?
Hungry.
Hungry is correct, which goes hand in hand with angry sometimes.
Agree. Hangry.
Hangry. All right, question number 11. What university does Bruce stake out?
That would be Culver University.
Culver University is correct. I'll give you another point if you can tell me what state it's in.
The United States.
Okay, all right. I guess I'm looking for one of the 50.
Oh, okay. Well, Massachusetts?
It is East Coast, but it's Virginia.
Virginia. Okay.
You still get a point for Culver.
All right. I'll take it.
Question number 12. What restaurant does Bruce go to while at the university?
It's a pizza joint. It's an Italian restaurant. What is the name?
I can give you a hint if you need it.
Yes. Lifeline.
All right, I can give you 2. The first one is that it starts with an S.
Okay.
The second is that maybe it's a nod to the creator of Marvel.
Oh, perfect. Yes. Okay, Stanley's. Yeah.
It is Stanley's Pizza Parlor.
Stanley's Pizza. Yep. I was like, gosh dang it. I was like, what was it?
You got the Italian, you got the pizza.
Mm-hmm. I needed that last little bit there.
I'm wondering if that is a nod to him.
Has to be. It's definitely an Easter egg. You can't,
Of course, it's not spelled the same, but, it's pronounced the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Question number 13. In order to protect the flash drive when the military comes, what does Bruce do?
Gobble, gobble. He eats it.
He eats it is correct. A risky move. And then he throws it up later. I don't understand how that's supposed to work sometimes.
Yeah, we'll just go with it's TV magic.
And does it work after sitting in your stomach acid?
I guess. I mean, if you think about a USB, sometimes they're protected on the inside. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. No, I have no idea.
Whew. But yes, eats it is correct. Question number 14. What does Betty offer to sell to help them get a little more cash?
Her diamond necklace.
Her diamond heart necklace is correct. Was the significance of that ever told in the movie?
Good question.
Bruce acts like, no, you can't do that, and then she's like, worst comes to worst, we can offer to buy it back again down the road, but it feels significant, but it's just not gone into.
It's probably like in a deep cut or something that was edited out. I would imagine it's one of two things. It was her mother's or it was a gift from him.
Sure. All right. Well, to end the medium round, question number 15, instead of saying hit me or another like a normal person, what does the general say when he wants another drink?
Let it flow?
No, it's I guess it's a term that maybe the military would use or someone who's familiar with weapons.
Hold on.
It does start with an R.
It starts with an R?
Starts with an R. I think he says it twice before Tony Stark walks in, but man, I was like, why does he have to do this? This is over the top.
For some reason, Let It Flow was in my mind, and it's going to be something similar because I know I'm like circling around whatever it is.
It's Reload.
Reload! Gosh dang it. Yep.
I was like, come on. Do we really have to do that right now?
Dag nabbit. Reload. That was such low-hanging fruit, too. And as I was watching it, I was like, oh, that would make a good question. And it just didn't even bother. I was like, no.
Listen, you'll need that for these next 5 hard questions here.
Okay. Oof.
All right. To end with the hard round, 5 questions left here, starting with question number 16. As always, what is Stanley's cameo appearance? Question number 17. At what heart rate is the Hulk activated? Question number 18. When hooked up to Mr. Blue's machines, he said the gamma pulse came from where? What part of his brain? Question 19 for 2 points. Blonsky gets the first serum injection in what 2 places? And question number 20 for 3 points. Who is Mr. Blue? What college does he work at? And in what department? All right, going back to question number 16. What is Stan Lee's cameo appearance?
His cameo appearance is as a consumer of the Brazilian green drink, and he has some type of episode. But yeah, he opens a refrigerator.
Questions on that coming up in the bonus round, but yes, he drinks the soda that has some of Bruce's blood in it, I guess?
Yep, correct.
Which we only see him shudder from, but does this hold repercussions for the future?
Who knows? Probably not.
Question number 17. At what heart rate is the Hulk activated?
That would be 200.
200 is correct, which is aggressively fast, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting though, because I have like a kinesiology background, and that's what I did for a while. 200 is pretty high. So your max heart rate is supposed to be 220 minus your age, which if, let's say, Ed Norton was probably in his mid 30s there, 190, 195 should have been his max, but I digress.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious if I were to go sprinting right now and see what my heart rate is, what that would be.
It just varies, yeah.
Sure. All right, question number 18. When hooked up to Mr. Blue's machines, he said the gamma pulse came from where? Which part of his brain?
Medulla oblongata.
Not quite. I'm looking for an A word.
A word, part of your brain.
Yes.
Okay, I can remember the scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. It's Betty Ross, Hulk, and
Mr. Blue.
Mr. Blue. It's untapped power. I can't imagine what it would be like to have all that power. He says it comes from the blood. It's his blood. He's a freak accident. I'm not remembering this.
He said it comes from the amygdala.
Fair. Okay.
Hey, totally fine. We got a couple multiple point questions here. Starting with question number 19. Blonsky gets the first serum injection in what 2 places?
In his back, so his spinal cord, and I don't know. I just remember the spinal cord. There's another location?
There is another location.
His cranium?
He said his deep muscle and his bone marrow centers.
Okay. You wanted science on these last ones.
Yep. I think the doctor says that before they hook him up with some of that old serum that's been sitting around for a long time.
Gotcha. Okay.
And to end with question number 20 for 3 points. Who is Mr. Blue? What college does he work at? And in what department?
He is Samuel Stearns.
Mm-hmm.
He's a cellular biologist.
Yes.
What was that college?
Starts with the G. G College.
It's a color, right? It's gray. Grayburn.
Grayburn College is correct. Dr. Stern from Grayburn College in the Department of Cellular Biology. Wow. That was on screen for 3 seconds?
It's so weird. So you also want to know what the Portuguese girl's name was? It was Marina. My brain decides to hold on to random things. And so I don't pick it. I don't choose it. That's why I take notes. I should have taken notes.
Hey, well, that's going to come in handy in the bonus episode here.
Let's do it. I'm ready for the bonus.
But to end the free episode, and with that 3-point pool at the end there, you are ending 19 for 20. Congratulations, man.
Not bad. Okay. I think is that what I did last time? I don't remember.
I think you did better this time.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, well, before we get started with this bonus episode, again, Irvin, thank you for being here. Would you like to plug your stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, thank you for having me. I love coming on to this show. This is right up my alley. Love Hulk stuff. Actually, I think I'm doing an MCU trivia night tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe I'll record that tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Actually, one of my friends, shout out to Brad Basker. I'm going to get him to listen to this just so he can listen to this shout out. But he's moving to Europe. And so we're going to be throwing him a surprise party. By the time this debuts, he'll already have left. But this is going to be awesome. So we're doing a Marvel trivia night tomorrow. Or is that Wednesday? I don't know. It's one of these days coming up. But yeah.
Awesome.
And then to plug our stuff, yes, please go listen to the Nerd Nostalgia podcast. We do weekly pop culture stuff ranging from reviewing movies, talking about nerd news, comics, video games, all of it. Anything and everything that's nerdy and geeky, we have probably talked on. Star Wars in depth, anything we do. We also have a YouTube page that's mainly me just unboxing things and showing people my collection as far as comics are concerned.
It's a really cool collection.
Yeah, thank you. And then, just any other stuff. We're on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. Find us, Nerd Nostalgia.
Another convenient thing with your podcast, which you can't get with many, I feel like, is that you cover a lot of things, especially like weekly stuff, but you also do it most of the time in, 10 to 20 minutes?
Yeah, that's our goal. So a lot of podcast episodes will be hours and hours long. And
yes.
So it's great, but realistically, you can't listen to all of that. If people are like me, I listen to podcasts on the way to work, on some type of short commute. And so I try to deliver these within that, 15, 20, 30-minute maximum. We have some long episodes out there and they happen, but for the most part, we try to deliver them as quick as possible just to get the content out to the folks and, update them on some stuff that's going on.
Quick, easy listen. So it's you should just do it.
Exactly. Listen in, guys.
To find links to all of Irvin's stuff, just click the links in the show notes there. If you've donated on the Patreon, a bonus episode is already out with more bonus questions. So now just listen to this outro that's coming up to submit your own trivia for the show. Follow on all the socials at TV Trivia Pod and everything else. And as always, you can email me at tvtriviapod@gmail.com. Irvin, again, thank you so much for being here, for returning from the office trivia. I'm so pumped to do bonus questions with you. And these cameos, oh man. Okay, never mind. I'm excited.
He's getting ahead of himself, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting ahead of himself.
I can't talk about it yet. Oh man. Listeners, thank you, and stay tuned for more trivia. Hey you. Thanks for listening. Rate the show 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and everywhere you can. Do it. You won't. If you have some trivia questions of your own, feel free to send them in. Check out the show notes to submit a question. I'd love to check out what you got. Another thing you can do to support the show and show some love is donate on Patreon or buymeacoffee.com. Check out the Patreon and get exclusive content, like at least 4 bonus episodes a month containing 40 plus bonus questions, movie trivia, and more. So, to rate on Apple Podcasts, donate on Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, submit your own questions, or to play through most of the questions yourself online, just click the link tree in the show notes. Thank you for listening, thank you for showing some love, and stay tuned for more trivia!